So here's the thing. This isn't an April Fool's video. This is serious as a heart attack. Okay, maybe not that serious, but as of yesterday, March 31st, 2023, Marvel's Avengers is effectively on life support and waiting to be taken off. And I know what you're thinking, hey Steve, you already did a video about Marvel's Avengers. It had a bunch of hilarious skits and really great voice acting. And to that I say, you're absolutely correct, dear viewer, those skits were hilarious. But also, yeah, I did do a nearly hour-long video about this game before, and that was a pretty comprehensive video essay review type thing that covered almost all my bases in a fairly balanced light. But today, it's not about balance, it's about celebrating the life of Marvel's Avengers, by talking about the 3 biggest pieces of praise that I didn't have time to make it into that original video. So, without further ado, let's get into it. Cosmetics are a really big point of contention for Marvel's Avengers fans, mostly due to the first wave of them being kind of decent designs that were just recolored a lot, like over and over and over again. But since then, they've put a great deal more focus on unique costumes, and wow, some of these are actually really good. I'm going to do a highlight of my favorite costume for each character because most of these are a really good adaptation of the comic costumes. Like, for example, okay, I love the Silver Centurion Iron Man. It is my favorite redesign of any comic book character ever, even more than Black Suit Spider-Man or Rebirth Batman, or even when Iron Man himself jumped from the all-gold tin can to the iconic red and yellow armor. The bullet-shaped helmet, the shoulder pads, and the red and silver color scheme look awesome. And sure, the Avengers version is just a retool of the classic armor, simply changing the colors and the arc reactor and adding the shoulder pads. But still, it looks pretty great, although I do wish it had the bullet helmet. Oh shit, wait, never mind, they added fucking War Machine, that's awesome. The new Vintage is my favorite iteration of a Captain America costume ever. I love the wings not being drawn or molded onto the cowl, but rather actually sticking out. I love the square scales and the shiny blue, and I love how many red and white stripes there are in this suit, covering the entire abdominal section all the way onto the back. If I could change anything, it's the shield. Also, shout out to like the Ultimate World War II suit, which is like my other favorite comic redesign, and another suit that needs a different shield. Cosmic Herald Thor is amazing, and I think the textures really make this suit with like the starry texture and like the gradient black and red on the cape. I especially like what they did with Thor's hair, becoming like a near platinum kind of color and looking all shiny and shit. Pre-order Hulk looks amazing. The ripped shirt still being on Banner's body has always been one of my favorite Hulk design tropes, and I think this shade of green is like just saturated enough to be exciting, but not too saturated that he looks actively radioactive. Plus, purple pants are always a win. Black Widow 1998 is by far one of my favorite looks for the character. I've always preferred Natasha with shorter hair, and I think the heavier accents of red and gold on a black suit look great and break it up a bit. I honestly just think the suit really needs a belt. Plus, you know, the material kind of reminds me of like Trinity's costume in The Matrix, so of course I like it. Miss Marvel's trending outfit is a perfect translation of her costume from the books. I really don't have anything special to say about it, it's just a pretty perfect adaptation of Kamala's main suit from the comics. Kate Bishop's signature style brings to me the one thing that the MCU will never have the balls to use. The fucking hip holes. Hawkeye's retro costume is pretty perfect for all the same reasons as that new vintage Captain America suit. The scales, the colors, I especially love how it's like more explicitly pink than purple. And it's one of the only costumes that changes the color and design of Clint's bow and arrows, with both becoming a nice gold. Black Panther has very few but very good costumes, with my personal favorites being this Jack Kirby-inspired design with the yellow eyes, the bluish hue, and the cape. I fucking love when Black Panther has a cape! And the Most Dangerous Man having a very stylish trench coat and Oxfords. Looks very dapper. Spider-Man's noir suit has never looked this good, and I think it's because it's one of the few iterations to have the actual trench coat, although I do kind of wish it still had the fedora. I also love how old this suit looks, as it's the only version of it that I could believe comes from the 1930s. And the goggles are just a really cool shape. Mighty Thor has like almost no costumes, so picking by default, I really like Thordis, which is from the original issue of What If that posited what would happen if Jane Foster became the Mighty Thor. I think this one is a really solid design, but it also stands as a solid example of how this game pulls from all corners of Marvel, like how some of Kamala's costumes are pulled from variant covers. And the Winter Soldier has this really sweet suit called Who the Hell is Bucky that scratches my itch for a balance between the movie suits and the comic suits. And yeah, I know, like, it's from the comics, but I just really have always liked the goggles and mask combo that the movies have, and I just wish they did that for Bucky more. And now, almost all of these costumes are free or can be earned by progressing or earning the free currency. And there's all the MCU costumes as well. I'm not really going to get into those, but yeah, I think they did pretty good work here, and I really commend them making all of this free as the game shuts down. Another thing that adds to the Avengers experience is the team play. And I'm not talking about multiplayer, I'm talking about being an Avenger. Because sure, a lot of the game design of the characters in this game wasn't really meant for team play in an extrinsic sense, meaning there aren't a lot of moves to help your allies or anything like that. But intrinsically, there's a great deal to be had in just being around other Avengers. I don't think there's anything quite like fighting an army of robots and then all of a sudden, bang, Thor's hammer goes flying by and takes out an enemy that you happen to be fighting. Similar feelings come around when T'Challa summons the Spirit of Bast and you just kind of back off like, alright, let me, because he's gonna get the most kills, so let me just let him do his thing. Seeing Iron Man suit up in the Hulkbuster nearby, or Winter Soldier carpet bomb a couple drones and keepers out of the corner of your eye is always awesome. Basically what I'm saying is that this game does a great job of making you feel cool, but you're always surrounded by cool people as well, so you're cool together, which makes you feel even cooler just by association. I don't know if any of this makes sense, but oh boy, I really hope it does, because it's a really cool feeling. I'm just gonna end this section now. And the last thing that I didn't mention about Marvel's Avengers that I absolutely love is you. No, seriously, if you're watching this video because you played Marvel's Avengers, even once, then I love you for that. Marvel's Avengers is one of the first games where I felt actively part of a community, and it's because Marvel's Avengers had a very lively and active community. It was fun to be a part of, to hear about the leaks, hype up a new skin that's coming out soon, or even just watch the developers react in real time to our complaints. I know that even some of you who hate this game really just wanted it to be better. Yes, I'm looking at you, Zach from Iron Ninja. And I know that everyone who played this game wanted it to be the best Avengers experience it could be, and maybe it never quite hit that bar, but I also know another thing. I know that everyone who made this game made the best Avengers experience they could make. So from someone who has around 600 goddamn hours on this game, from a genuine fan of this game, to everyone who shared their buggy clips and stunning photo mode screenshots, to everyone who screamed at the developers to be better, and everyone who quietly pleaded for this to be the best game it could be, thank you. I will miss Marvel's Avengers. I'll miss this community. And it sucks that we have to miss it, but I'm glad that we got it in the first place. And I guess to all of the Avengers fans out there with me, I think our job might be done. I think we can finally disassemble. Special thanks to my buddy Omar for donating to the $10 tier on my Patreon. The Marvel's Avengers community might be disassembling, but you can assemble over on my Patreon, and I really appreciate like everyone who does that or even considers doing it. And you know, I have new stuff on the Patreon. I've kind of come to this compromise where I don't want to make a video about every single piece of media that I consume, but I do want to talk about media that I consume, so I'm just doing written reviews on there, and they will be exclusive to Patreon, and if they become public at any point, assume that I've been hacked or I'm shutting down the Patreon. But that is really all I got. Please like and subscribe. I hate saying that. You guys have no idea. I don't want to be that YouTuber, but I do want to say like and subscribe because I looked at my analytics recently, and like 97% of you who watch my videos are not subscribed. So I would really appreciate it if you guys liked, comment, share, subscribe, whatever, do that voodoo that you do.